Good afternoon. I'm Tom Nepple. I'm the chairman of the Colorado Springs Regional Business Alliance and the CEO of Springs Fabrication. Thank you for coming out today. We're going to hear from the chair of the board of El Paso County Commissioners, Dennis Heise, a little later on the state of the region. We're fortunate enough today to have Linda Wise from the Conservatory, and she's going to open this up with the national anthem.
We're all going to open it up.
She said we're all going to sing.
We're all going to sing. Thank you for the privilege and the pleasure of opening this incredible program.
Lip sync.
No lip syncing. This is not the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. All right. And I'm joined by two of my colleagues, CSC alumni Michael Hawkins and David Musante. And I just told them what key we're doing this in. See how it works, Mike? Are you ready? Keith, I hear that you knocked it out of the ballpark the other day. Can we have an encore? Here we go. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Bravi!
You guys are so lucky that I wasn't the one singing. Thank you, Linda, that was excellent. At this time, I'd like to recognize some of our guests. We have a large group today, so please hold your applause until after all the names are read. Attorney General John Suthers, State Representative-elect Gordon Klingenschmidt, from El Paso County, Chair of the Board of Commissioners Dennis Heise, Commissioners Amy Lathan, Darrell Glenn, and Peggy Littleton. Coroner Robert Bucks, Assessor Mark Louderman, Clerk and Recorder Wayne Williams. Wayne is also our Secretary of State-elect. And from the City of Colorado Springs, Mayor Steve Bach, President of Council Keith King, President Pro Tem Merv Bennett, Council members Jill Gabler, Jan Martin, Andy Pico, and Val Snyder. From the City of Fountain, Mayor Pro Tem Jim Koch, Council members Sharon Thompson, Phil Thomas, and Sam Geek. Gotta find my page here. Representing Congressman Doug Lamborn is Neil Schurer, El Paso County Administrator Jeff Green, Jay Lindell, Aerospace and Defense Industry Champion for the State Office of Economic Development. If there's anybody I missed, or if you're not running for mayor, would you please stand up? If there's any bankers in the room that I haven't borrowed money from, would you please stand up? I'm on a roll, what can I say? I would now like to recognize our sponsors of today's event. Gold sponsors, Boeing, Kaiser Permanente, United Healthcare Military and Veterans. Silver sponsor, Webster University. Print media sponsor, The Gazette. Thanks to each of you for your service to the citizens of our region, as well as your leadership on critical issues in our daily lives. As I come to the close of my year as board chair of the Business Alliance, I'm pleased to report that we're seeing some very positive activity. Just recently, Colorado Springs ranked second among most attractive market for leasing a data center, according to CBRE. I think that just came out today. More local businesses are informing us that they are in the process or will be hiring in the next year. We have seen a noticeable increase in recruitment prospects since Labor Day. Just this week, we are hosting 4 prospects in town, 2 for initial visits and 2 for follow-on visits. We currently expect decisions to be made in the first and second quarter of 2015 by a few of our top prospects. The feedback we're getting from these companies is very positive. Workforce does remain a critical issue, and we've been hearing that for quite some time, and that also holds true for companies that are existing. While Congress did not approve a new base realignment and closure round for 2015, we still face critical force structure decisions in military services. We are already preparing a visit by key members of the Army leadership in early 2015 and working with the governor, our congressional delegation, and others to demonstrate a strong, unified front from the state. When that date is set by the Army, we will be reaching out and asking for participation from the community to show up and leave no doubt how we feel about Fort Carson and the soldiers who serve there. I hope to see you there. I could give you a litany of activity that we are engaged in, but due to the constraints of time, I'll just make some key points. In 2015, Debbie Chandler will lead the organization as board chair and will do so with the same energy and commitment that we've seen out of her in 2014. And I think you'll all be very pleased. The board has established councils to lead the following areas. Business development, which Matt Coleman and our 2015 vice chair is putting a great deal of energy into. Defense development, community development that includes governmental affairs, and of course, Business Alliance operations. Of course, City for Champions will continue to have full support of the board, so structurally, we are well positioned for success. The board and staff are also committed to strengthening relationships with each of you, in particular our elected officials and the county partners, our community partners. The organization is committed to contributing to a community culture of effective collaboration and action. This we must do as the Business Alliance and as a community. The projects we are working and the initiatives we will be engaged in are dependent on a broad base of support. We thank all of you who continue to support the Business Alliance, but we have to expand our relationships and support of our mission. Thank you for that. As many of you know, we have undertaken a search for a new president and CEO of the Business Alliance. The board is pleased to announce that Charles Emmer has agreed to head the search committee, and I'm sure most of you know Charles. As you know, he is an exemplary community leader and the former CEO of Ent Federal Credit Union. Randy Scott and Fresk have been asked to provide professional services to the committee during the search process. We anticipate the duration of this search will be through January 2015. Applicants should check our website after December 19th for details on how to apply. To set the record straight, we do have a local preference. However, we are not limiting the search to a local candidate. And we do understand the importance of this position in our community. It's an extremely important, critical hire. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Toby Gannett. Where's Toby? Right in front. For contributing his time to serve as a board liaison to the staff during this transition. Thank you, Toby. Now I would like to honor some board members who have completed their terms of service to come to the podium and be recognized. And I would ask everybody who receives an award today to please stay after for pictures. Charles Emmer, would you please come forward? Obviously, while Charles is off the board, he's taken on a significant responsibility on behalf of the Business Alliance. I know Charles is here. Oh, there he is. And we thank him for that. Would Steve Helbing please come forward? In addition to coming off the RBA board, Steve has also retired from a long and successful career at Wells Fargo. And I know Steve is not one to sit around, so we'll see him around quite a bit. Thank you, Steve. Unfortunately, Doug Beal and Frank Karras could not be with us today. Thanks to each of you for your service at this time. I would like to recognize a couple of new board members. Pam Keller, Keller Homes, and Margaret Sabin, St. Francis Penrose Health Services. She could not be with us today. I'd like to invite our Board of Directors and Board of Governors to stand and be recognized. Please stand. Thank you to each of you for your leadership and support. We are especially grateful to the 1,100 plus member investors and outstanding volunteers for your support. Thank you very much. And would the staff of the Business Alliance please stand and be recognized? Most of them in the back there. The board definitely appreciates your effort and hard work, and we know it's been a trying times the last few months, and thank you for hanging in there. We now have two special awards to present. Colorado Springs City Councilwoman Jan Martin, would you please come forward? This is a reoccurring theme with Jan. Jan.
Yeah, it was a good trip, though.
Jan grew up in a town a lot smaller than Colorado Springs, at least a lot smaller than it is today.
Yes.
She graduated from District 11 schools. Her dad was a Buick dealer. And to those who know her best, it seems like she just always knew that if you wanted to keep this as a great place to live, you had to participate, to volunteer, to learn, and in short, to work it. And Jan has done that. She's nearing the end of her second term on the Colorado Springs City Council and the Colorado Springs Utility Board, and she's always been a strong supporter of our efforts in helping grow jobs. In particular, she has been a champion and mentor to our rising professionals. Her depth of knowledge about this community, about city government, about things like water supply and power generation and other complex utility matters is impressive. But more impressive is her concern for her community. Jan Martin is never afraid to tell you if she disagrees with what you're doing, but she can disagree without being disagreeable. This summer, Councilwoman Jan Martin was selected as a 2014 winner of the Athena Award, and today we recognize her with a 2014 Regional Leader of the Year Award.
Thank you, Tom. That means a lot. It really means a lot.
Thank you. Dan Gallagher, would you please come forward? If you spend any time at all talking with Colorado Springs Airport Manager Dan Gallagher, you'll be impressed by the depth of his knowledge and understanding of the airline and airport business. You will also see that he has a laser focus on things that must be done at our airport to fulfill its true potential as a driver of economic development. But beyond his impressive knowledge and commitment to success, Dan also has demonstrated great skills as a collaborator, a cheerleader, and negotiator. Thanks to Dan's leadership and the guidance of the Airport Advisory Board, city, county, and state agencies, new businesses are locating at the airport. Long vacant buildings are now occupied and existing companies are expanding. Dan led the charge for the creation of the Commercial Aeronautical Zone and a state designation as an Aviation Development Zone. The airport is working hard to reduce costs to the carriers, which will result in better, more efficient air service. He refinanced the airport debt, saving carriers millions of dollars, while helping drive up the passenger loads on flights out of the Springs. He created a new business lounge to help attract the flyers most desired by airlines, the business traveler. In short, Dan's leadership is changing the direction of our airport and making our community a stronger one to do business in. Today, the Regional Business Alliance presents Dan Gallagher with a 2014 Public Employee of the Year Award. Congratulations, Dan. Before I introduce our keynote speaker, I want to say that El Paso County, both the elected leadership and staff, is an outstanding partner to the Business Alliance. The work we do is dependent on the success of this relationship. Dennis Heisey has been a long-standing and strong supporter of the mission of the Regional Business Alliance. He understands that in order to attract good jobs and support local businesses, our community must have a well-trained workforce, good roads infrastructure, safe neighborhoods, and good schools. And it must be able to do all these things in a responsible way that does not result in the high-cost government dulling our competitive edge. Commissioner Heisey serves on the board of directors of the Pikes Peak Workforce Center, the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments, the Fountain Creek Watershed District, and another dozen or so regional boards and committees. He is an officer of Colorado Counties Incorporated, an organization that represents and assists more than 60 Colorado counties in state, regional, and national legislative matters. Commissioner Heisey's calendar is more than full, but he still manages to find some time for his family and his church, and at least one hunting trip every year, hopefully successfully. Please welcome a good friend, Dennis Heisey, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you, Tom. You know, looking at this crowd today and who's out there, rather august group here, I see several folks in the private sector that could probably be doing this much better than I am about the state of the region, because you live it. You know what the state of the region is. But I would like to thank my fellow commissioners for letting me serve another year as chair of the board. Here today we have Darrell Glenn, Peggy Littleton, and Vice Chair Amy Lathan. Would like to thank County Administrator Jeff Green and County Attorney Amy Folsom. We really appreciate everything they do, as well as the rest of the county staff. They have put in another year of dedicated service and hard work. So thank you for all of the county staff that's out here, but in particular the senior leadership team that has to put up with us commissioners. I'd like to thank Mayor Bach and the city council members, other elected officials that are attending here today. I know I've got my city council over here to the right, the Fountain City Council's here. Now, Mayor Bach did ask me if I'd be taking questions afterwards. I quickly said no, but should that make me nervous? I'd like to have a special appreciation here for my wife. She's been putting up with campaigns and elected schedules for several years now. I really appreciate your commitment and your understanding, not complaining about those nights that you eat your meals alone. It's only because of her support that I'm able to be as involved as I am. Now, she apparently had some idea of what we were getting into. In fact, probably a better idea than I did when we signed up. I say we because you don't do this alone, but when we signed up for our first campaign. But shortly after I was elected, my first day in office, you're busy getting the office together, and I go home and say, I'm happy. I have a parking space downtown. She quickly informed me she didn't work that hard so I could have a parking space downtown. So thank you very much, Kathy. Love of my life. A special thanks to the Business Alliance and their sponsors for hosting this 10th annual State of the Region Luncheon. And thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules. You being here just shows us how committed you are to this community. Congratulations to El Paso County Clerk and Recorder Wayne Williams, who will become Secretary of State next month. Wayne's right over here. He's a great source. Great source of encouragement to me and the other commissioners. We realize that having commissioner on your resume is not a fatal flaw. There is life after being a commissioner. A year ago, I noted that the region was improving and predicted that absent any new historic disasters, it would continue to improve through 2014. Being an optimistic guy, I generally see the glass as half full rather than half empty. But this year, I want to suggest that our regional glass is really more than half full. Here's some encouraging numbers. El Paso County sales and use tax collections are up 5.4%. New car registrations are up more than 10%, with relatively short wait times at the DMV, so thank you, Wayne, again. Unemployment in the region is down to 5.4% compared to 7.6% just a year ago. Those numbers are pretty encouraging, but there are some other numbers that remind us there's more to be done. Regional Building reports the number of permits for new single-family homes so far this year is down 5.5%. The total value of all building permits is down 18.7%. Now, we did have kind of an artificial bump last year with some SDS projects that came through. Those were a bit expensive. The public trustee says foreclosures are down 3% from last year. A good thing, however, mortgage payoffs and default cures are down nearly 30%, a not so good thing. And the Department of Human Services, something that falls under the commissioners, they report that approximately 70,000 of our neighbors and residents in El Paso County qualify for food stamps every month. So as we assess the state of the region in 2014, we're looking at some good numbers, some very good numbers, and some not so very good numbers. But numbers alone don't tell the complete story. I believe the state of the region is better than the numbers alone would suggest. Thanks in part to our shared experiences and lessons learned from the two big fires and floods that followed, more than ever before, we understand the work to be done, and we're working together like never before. One good example involves our summer rain showers. This time last year, we were very, very concerned that there was too much to do and too little time to do it before the inevitable summer rain storms would come through and we'd have flooding on the burn scars. In this respect, we are absolutely better off than we were at this time last year. The very real threat that an average, everyday, typical rain will result in catastrophic flooding has been removed. This has been an unprecedented collaborative effort involving the county, the city of Colorado Springs, the Forest Service, CDOT, FEMA, Manitou Springs, private landowners, military installations, Colorado Springs Utilities, NRCS, nonprofits, and others. Now, don't be fooled. Big storms are still a very big threat, but as a region, we're moving steadily along the road to recovery. The glass is more than half full. Speaking of working together to make it happen, let me focus on a few shining examples of the ways our region is poised for the future. It seems everybody wants to claim Dan Gallagher in the airport right now, but I believe the Colorado Springs Airport really is on the verge of a big comeback. Airport Director Dan Gallagher, who was honored here just a few minutes ago as the Public Employee of the Year, and members of the Airport Advisory Board have brought together city, county, and state resources through the creation of a Commercial Aeronautic Zone, a CAZ. You can't do anything without an acronym. To help businesses locating or expanding their operations at the Colorado Springs Airport. And it's working, as you've already heard. The airport has lowered the cost to the airlines by 50% and reduced debt by 75%. Long vacant airport buildings are now humming with activity, and more job-creating businesses are looking to expand to the airport. What's really exciting about all this is that each of these new tenants on the airport helps to reduce the cost of airport operations, which are passed on to the airlines flying in and out of the region. As their costs go down, we become more attractive for more flights, something that we can all appreciate. Our glass really is more than half full. I've mentioned before that as a statutory county, we don't have a lot of economic tools at our disposal. In fact, while other counties have been known to offer a rebate or reduction on the local business personal property tax as an incentive, we can't do that. That's because the commissioners completely eliminated the county's business and personal property tax a number of years ago. And we're the only county in the state that's done that. But we do have creative people who have found creative ways to assist, often partnering with the city or others in economic development. We're doing this in ways that will benefit the entire region. And El Paso County can participate in economic development through the state-authorized County Enterprise Zone. I suspect many of you here today support the Regional Business Alliance through the County Enterprise Zone and get a state income tax credit for doing so because the Business Alliance is a qualified County Enterprise Zone project. Jason Wood, President of Pikes Peak United Way, can you start making your way down to the front? Wherever, there's Jason. Pikes Peak United Way is another organization that you can support through the El Paso County Enterprise Zone. And I want to single out Jason today for his initiative and hard work to address the problem of homelessness in this community. Homelessness, that's too many syllables for a country boy. Homelessness is a difficult challenge in all regions of the country, and as with all difficult challenges, there are many people willing to offer a simple, low-cost solution that will not work. There is, however, a systematic approach making a difference in Salt Lake County, Utah, Maricopa County, Arizona, and others. By linking together and coordinating all of the programs, services, and organizations in their communities that provide mental health care, housing, job training, and economic assistance, so those resources can be focused to meet the need of each individual homeless person, they are showing some real results. It's a concept commonly called the continuum of care. And while it cannot lay claim to eliminating homelessness, it has been effective in moving many people from dependency to self-sufficiency and hope. For his efforts to bring together under the powerful united umbrella continuum of care approach to the community today, I want to recognize Jason Wood with the 2014 State of the Region Making a Difference Award. Thank you, Jason. Relative newcomer to the area, and he just jumped in and is convinced he can make a difference. We appreciate people with that spirit. Pikes Peak United Way is one of many local nonprofits that are in El Paso County Enterprise Zone projects. That means it works to improve economic conditions in the enterprise zone, and if you make a qualified contribution, you can earn a direct tax credit. Not a deduction, but a tax credit on your state income tax. Deanne McCann is our El Paso County Economic Development Manager. She is right over there. Very good. Thank you, Deanne. We have her number and email address on the screen, and I encourage all of you. Maybe we should have told her. Encourage all of you to give her a call and get the whole story on the benefits of donating through the El Paso County Enterprise Zone project. In addition to the Enterprise Zone projects, Deanne works with the Regional Business Alliance and directly with businesses to make sure they're getting all of the tax breaks and investment incentives available to them. Deanne, you can thank me later for all those phone calls. Have I mentioned that the Regional Business Alliance is a qualified El Paso County Enterprise Zone project? As the lead organization in attracting new primary jobs and supporting existing businesses and industry, an investment with the Regional Business Alliance is clearly an investment in economic growth for our region. And through the El Paso County Enterprise Zone, you can make your investment go even further. Tom Osborne, can you come up to the front? The Sports Corp, there he is, and I have been assured that really is Tom there on the slide. The Sports Corp is another local nonprofit organization which benefits the region as an El Paso County Enterprise Zone project. I will be so glad when I get off this Enterprise Zone portion of the speech. This year, with the assistance of Tom Osborne and the Sports Corp, the Broadmoor resumed its historic support as title sponsor of the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. With worldwide media coverage, the hill climb is roaring back as one of the premier motorsports events in the world. This is the way it looks when thousands of us gather downtown to watch the U.S. Pro Cycling Challenge roll through. It's exciting, it's fun, it brings out thousands of spectators, and those network television pictures of the world's best cyclists racing through Colorado Springs are truly priceless in terms of promoting our region throughout the world. Also scattered throughout the region is the headquarters of the United States Olympic Committee, the Olympic Training Center, more than 100 miles of regional hiking, biking, and equestrian trails, more than 20 Olympic sports governing bodies, and UCCS taking a leadership role in the position of sports medicine research and high-performance athletes. With all of these sports and fitness assets, our region is just beginning to tap the tremendous potential that sports and fitness offers as a major economic driver for years to come. Appreciate you standing up here with me, Tom. For years to come and helping us get there. I want to present Tom Osborne with this award recognizing the Sports Corp as the Economic Development Project of the Year. Thank you, Tom. And again, the glass is more than half full. Doug Price, President and CEO of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, if you could make your way up to the front. I don't like to be standing up here alone, so. It's no secret that the wildfires and the floods that hit in 2012 and 2013 hit our region's tourism business especially hard. A steady stream of fire and flood coverage on network and cable TV took its toll. Dave Rose tells the story of taking a call in the Emergency Operations Center during the Waldo Canyon fire. A nervous bride-to-be was on the phone from Atlanta. It was June 2012, and she was watching the flames on TV. Her wedding was scheduled 3 months later in Teller County, and she wanted to know if she should cancel it, or did we think the fire would be out by then? Fortunately, it was. Thanks to the influence of Doug Price and his team over at the Convention and Visitors Bureau, state support for tourism-related activities has been restored, and my friends in Manitou Springs and Woodland Park both tell me that traffic was good this summer, even with the Royal Gorge still closed due to fire damage. Doug gave us this third quarter report just a couple of weeks ago. Collections from El Paso County, or from Colorado Springs, lodging and car rental tax are up more than 9%. El Paso County doesn't have one of those. Talk to the mayor about how to make that happen here, if that's working well for him. Visits to the CVB website had topped 1.1 million at the end of the third quarter. That's 300,000 more website visits than all of last year, suggesting that a lot of would-be visitors who were discouraged by the fires and floods still have the Pikes Peak region at the top of their vacation planning list. So with gas prices down and the Royal Gorge up and running, we go into 2015 with the glass more than half full. For his never-wavering support and resourceful marketing of the Pikes Peak region after our back-to-back disasters, we want to present Doug Price with our 2014 State of the Region Person of Influence Award. Thanks, Doug. City for Champions is a big, long-range, forward-thinking idea that shouldn't be crushed under a mountain of smaller, short-range, immediate concerns. There's a lot of discussion in the community right now over the shape, size, mission, ownership, and financing of the downtown sports and events complex. I believe those details will sort themselves out in due time, and I think we should applaud the work of Chancellor Pam Shockley and her team at UCCS, who are moving ahead with a sports medicine center. That is, in fact, only one small part of the great things happening at UCCS as it expands its role as an economic driver for the whole state. Governor Dick Celeste and his team are still collecting private contributions and have already announced important milestones on the Olympic Hall of Fame. And the Air Force Academy for having the location for the new visitor center identified closer to the interstate. As a chair of the Board of County Commissioners, I was proud to sign a resolution on behalf of the county just a few weeks ago, thanking the Colorado Economic Development Commission for its commitment to more than $100 million in state sales tax increments to help fund the City for Champion projects. The state's commitment is a powerful statement recognizing that in terms of statewide economic drivers, we can be more than we are. In other words, they see the glass as more than half full. This year, the county is happy to welcome the headquarters of PTAC into our Citizen Service Center. The Colorado PTAC, or Procurement Technical Assistance Center, is a public-private partnership that helps small businesses throughout the state understand the government procurement process so they can submit winning bids for government contracts. And nobody can confuse a contract like government. Executive Director Gary Henry is here with us today. Last year, the PTAC assisted 3,000 Colorado businesses in securing more than $900 million worth of government contracts. This month alone, the PTAC is hosting 9 separate outreach events to help businesses along the Front Range become government vendors. And last year, with full bipartisan support, Colorado lawmakers recognized the value of the PTAC as a force multiplier and established a task force to determine the best way to assure its future funding. On the first floor of the El Paso County Citizen Service Center, we now have Charlie Whelan and his team at the Pikes Peak Workforce Center. a full staff of counselors and contracting experts at the PTAC, along with Eiktha Makulier and her award-winning team at the Small Business Development Center. They are all working together side by side to make sure that we have the best workforce ready to support the smartest, best supported, and most successful business community anywhere. By the way, Eiktha and her mostly volunteer team at the Colorado Springs Small Business Development Center has received the SBA Region 8 Excellence and Innovation Award as the best SBDC in a 6-state region. Congratulations, Eiktha. Thank you. Thank you. We all knew they were doing great things out there, but it's good when the SBA bosses recognize that as well. The Technology Incubator is another exciting El Paso County Enterprise Zone project. In August, the Air Force Academy announced a historic partnership with the Colorado Springs Technology Incubator to assist the successful transfer of technologies developed by the Air Force Academy. If you think the sky is the limit for this exciting new public-private partnership, you're probably thinking too small. We also have some great partnerships working to address both the need for affordable housing and the desire to preserve the traditional American dream of home ownership. A large pool of local lenders are participating in the program, but I want to recognize the folks from People's Bank here today. I saw some earlier. There they are. They have the distinction of being the biggest participant in the El Paso County single-family turnkey housing program. On the screen, is a house recently purchased through the turnkey program. It provides grants in the amount of 4% of the mortgage, which often translates into additional economic activity as the home buyers purchase furniture, appliances, and landscaping supplies. Now that's 4%, and that's a grant. So on a $200,000 house, you get $8,000 right up front to help get you into that house, and you don't pay it back. Speaking of innovation, don't you just love to watch this thing gobble up those prickly tumbleweeds? There we go. Being a bit of a shade tree mechanic myself and somewhat dangerous with a welder, I probably appreciate this more than most. But this is pretty much a homemade device made from a couple of pieces of used farm machinery that were modified by the guys in our shop to help us get a handle on the bumper crop of tumbleweeds that hit the region. And by the way, our operator of that machine, Tom Huffman, is here. He's over there he's by the door. Thanks, Tom. This just became one of his other duties as assigned, but he was an easy pick because he is a farmer himself, so there was no training required to operate this. And some of you are really kind of thinking, really? You've never had a tumbleweed in your backyard? But to the school bus driver whose road is totally blocked, this machine looked like an early Christmas present. Our county public work folks have been recognized nationally for past innovations, and they're not resting on their laurels. I just wanted to give a shout out to them and all of the great El Paso County employees that find innovative solutions to tough problems every day. It was a personal disappointment when the voters turned down the Regional Stormwater Authority. It was an unprecedented effort by volunteers who stepped forward to propose a solution to a very complex regional problem. Through neighborhood meetings, we learned that most citizens understand that stormwater is an important problem that must be addressed. 47% of those who voted on the issue in November agreed that this was a good solution. 53% did not. But I think City Council President Keith King made a good observation in noting there was a significant undervote, which likely means many folks just didn't feel they had enough information to cast a vote on this issue. With that in mind, I remain confident that our region will pull together to find a solution to our stormwater problems. The voters did, however, on a happier note, allow us to keep a little over $2 million that was collected last year above the Tabor revenue cap. They directed that money to be used for parks, open space projects, including fire recovery, flood mitigation, and restoration in our regional parks, trail work for the Jones Park open space, improvements at Bear Creek Nature Center, and barn improvements at the fairgrounds for our 4-H animals. And actually, the 4-H animals aren't the county's, they belong to the 4-H kids. We just house them for a week. But maybe the best thing to be said about this past election season is that it's over. And on that note, I invite you to join us at 8:30 on January 13th in Centennial Hall when re-elected Commissioners Glenn and Littleton, County Coroner Dr. Robert Bucks, and Surveyor Lawrence Burnett, along with Sheriff Bill Elder, Clerk and Recorder Chuck Berman, County Assessor Steve Schleicher, and Treasurer Mark Louderman will receive the oath of office. And it's a brief but meaningful ceremony that reminds us all of the tremendous honor, privilege, and responsibility that we have been given to serve in public office. Sheriff Bill Elder has 600 or so deputies that need to be resworn in order to comply with statutory requirements. So that ceremony will be held separately at 10:30 in the morning at the Pikes Peak Center. You know, going back to my earlier statement, numbers alone do not tell a complete story. The state of the region is better than the numbers alone would suggest. Numbers are important, and details are important. But what makes the difference is people. People willing to tackle the problem of empty buildings at the airport. People with the vision to see an Olympic museum where only abandoned lumber sheds now stand. Or a sports medicine clinic as part of a campus healing injured athletes and wounded soldiers, training the next generation of medical professionals. It takes men and women, young and not so young, in agreement with the statement that we can be more than we are. It takes men and women willing to go the distance, come back from disappointments and setbacks, willing to try new paradigms on old problems, and not afraid to learn from other people's successes and failures. We have those people in this room, and we have many more of them in this community. Our region's accomplishments are not the result of the actions of one man or woman, but the collaborative efforts of many. Nobody has to do it all, but we all have a part to play somewhere in promoting innovation, increasing tourism, enhancing our infrastructure, training and maintaining the best workforce in the state, creating and capturing new jobs. So I commit to you that the county will listen to your new ideas, and where there's a role for government, we will seriously consider our responsibilities. But where there is no role for government, we'll do our best to get out of the way and let the private sector do what they do best, and that's create profitable companies that employ our citizens. I look forward to 2015 being the most rewarding year for our region. Thank you so much for being here. Merry Christmas, have a great holiday season, and if you find that your glass is still half full, please drink it. I understand most of us don't get enough water.
I think we're extremely fortunate to have such leadership, Dennis. Thank you for your service. I think this is the audience participation round. I'm going to try something here. Everybody raise their right hand. I state your name. Promise to support the vision of Colorado Springs and declare 2015 a year of collaboration. Before we close, I'd like to mention that Governor Hickenlooper will deliver his State of the State address at a business luncheon on January 28th. I believe it's in this facility, but I don't know if it's been named yet. Invitations will be mailed shortly. I would like to thank the Business Alliance, El Paso County staff for putting this event together. On behalf of the Business Alliance, thank you very much, and happy holidays. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Would the award recipients please come forward so we can get our photos done?